Did you know that what you eat within the first hour of waking up could be quietly shaping how you feel all day long, not just in your energy levels, but in your strength, circulation, even your confidence behind closed doors? Most men don't realize it. They think it's just age catching up with them. Maybe they feel a little slower getting out of bed. Maybe their legs feel heavier, or their balance isn't quite what it used to be. Maybe the intimacy that once came naturally now feels like a struggle, or worse, something they've quietly started to avoid. And when that happens, it's easy to shrug and say, well, I guess this is just what getting older looks like. But I'm here to tell you something that I've seen change lives over and over again. It might not be your age at all. It might be your breakfast. Hi, I'm Dr. Maya Kapoor. I've spent over 30 years helping men navigate the challenges of aging, from declining blood flow to lost energy and fading intimacy. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that your body still wants to fight for you. It wants to heal. It wants to respond, but it needs the right tools. And surprisingly, those tools aren't found in prescriptions or pill bottles. They're in your kitchen, specifically in the 5 simple foods I'm going to walk you through in this video. Foods you probably already know, but may not be using in the way your body actually needs, especially first thing in the morning. Most men I speak to don't think of breakfast as a chance to reclaim their vitality. It's just coffee and maybe toast, if anything at all. But what you eat after a full night of fasting is like sending your body a message, and that message can either say, it's time to wake up, repair, and circulate, or it can say, we're still running on empty, hold back, conserve, shut down. I've seen so many good men walk into my office feeling frustrated, ashamed, like something important was slipping away and they didn't know how to stop it. And every time we start with the same question, tell me what you eat in the morning. And more often than not, that's where the breakthrough begins. Your lower body, your legs, your pelvic muscles, your groin, all depend on strong circulation to stay functional, sensitive, and strong. But after 60, circulation naturally slows down. Muscle fibers lose tone. Blood vessels lose elasticity. And if your first meal of the day is skipping the nutrients your body is desperate for, it can quietly accelerate that decline. That's why this conversation is so important. Because once you understand how to use these 5 foods the right way, you can begin to turn things around gently, naturally, and without side effects. So if you've been waking up feeling stiff, numb, or just not like yourself, I want you to know you're not alone. And you're not broken. You may just need to give your body the right message, starting with the first bite of the day. And before we begin, let me say this. I know how hard it is to talk about these things. I know how easy it is to blame yourself, to quietly wonder if your best days are behind you. But I'm here to remind you that they're not. You still have time. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for you to give it a chance. So stay with me, because over the next few minutes, we're going to walk through the most powerful breakfast choices you can make, not just to support your health, but to remind yourself what it feels like to be strong, steady, and alive again. Whole eggs, the circulation starter. Let me start with one of the simplest, most overlooked foods sitting in your kitchen right now. You've probably had it in your fridge for years, but chances are you never realized just how powerful it can be, especially for a man over 60 who wants to feel stronger, more grounded, and more alive in his body again. I'm talking about whole eggs. Yes, the humble egg, not egg whites, not powdered substitutes. A whole egg with the yolk intact is nature's most complete package when it comes to restoring male circulation and strength in the lower body. And if you're skipping it in the morning, you might be missing one of your greatest opportunities to feel like yourself again. I've lost count of how many men I've sat across from, men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who looked me in the eye and said some version of, "Dr. Kapoor, I don't know what's going on down there anymore. I don't feel the same. I don't move the same. I don't wake up the same." And every time I ask about breakfast, and every time the answer is the same. Just coffee, maybe a slice of toast if I'm lucky. And I get it. Habits form. Time gets short. But what most men don't realize is that their body, especially at this age, is quietly starving when they wake up. Starving for protein, starving for cholesterol, starving for the nutrients that power blood flow and repair the very muscles that hold everything together down there. The yolk, yes, the part we were once told to avoid, is the key. That golden center is packed with vitamin D, B12, choline, and a powerful amino acid called leucine. These are the ingredients your body needs not just for energy or brain health, but to rebuild muscle tissue, including the deep, often ignored muscles of your pelvic floor. These muscles aren't just about strength, they're about control, sensitivity, and stability. They're the foundation that supports your erections, your bladder, and even your ability to get up from a chair without wobbling. And when circulation begins to slow, they're often the first to weaken. But the good news is, when you feed them properly, your body responds. I remember one patient, Samuel, a retired firefighter with hands like oak and eyes that still had fight in them. He came to see me after 2 years of waking up without morning wood. He told me with a quiet frustration, "Doc, I'm not ready to give up, but it feels like my body already has." I had him start with 2 boiled eggs every morning. Nothing fancy, just consistent. 4 weeks later, he left a message on my voicemail that I still think about. He said, "Dr. Kapoor, I woke up like I was 40 again. Not because of a pill, not because of surgery, because we gave his body the raw materials it had been asking for all along. You don't need supplements or complicated protocols. You need real food. And when eaten within the first hour of waking, 2 whole eggs can quietly begin to restore blood flow, muscle integrity, and that quiet confidence that so many men believe is gone for good. But it's not gone. It's just been waiting. So tomorrow morning, when you open your fridge, don't reach for convenience. Reach for something that actually wants to rebuild you. Crack those eggs. Eat them whole. And know that with every bite, you're telling your body, I'm still here, I still care, and I still believe in you. Oats with chia seeds, the artery cleanser. Let's talk about the arteries, not just the ones that go to your heart or your brain, but the ones that lead lower, the ones that quietly determine how well your body moves, feels, and responds as you get older. If you've ever felt that dull heaviness in your legs, or found yourself dragging your feet up the stairs, or wondered why intimacy doesn't feel the way it used to, there's a good chance your arteries are quietly crying out for help. And the beautiful thing is, the fix doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it starts with something as simple as a warm bowl of oats topped with chia seeds. Now, I know, oatmeal may not sound exciting, but sometimes the most powerful medicine comes in the form of comfort. Oats are rich in a special kind of fiber called beta-glucan. This fiber doesn't just help lower cholesterol, it scrubs your blood vessels clean from the inside. Imagine giving your arteries a gentle rinse every morning, helping them stay open, elastic, and responsive. That means more oxygen, more nutrients, more blood flowing to the areas that matter most, especially the lower body. And when you pair oats with chia seeds, you get something even better. Chia seeds are tiny, but they're mighty. They're packed with magnesium, potassium, and omega-3 fatty acids, all of which help your blood vessels relax and reduce inflammation. When arteries are inflamed, they constrict. But when they're nourished, they open. They allow the blood to move freely, delivering energy and life to the muscles, tissues, and nerves that keep you feeling like a man, not just physically, but emotionally too. Because let's be honest, when circulation improves, so does everything else. Your mood, your confidence, your presence with the people you love. I think of Leo, a retired postal worker who came to me with tired legs and a tired heart. "I don't know, Dr. Kapoor," he said. "I just feel slow, like I've left the best parts of myself behind." He had been eating sugary cereal for years, thinking he was doing okay. I asked him to make a small change, just one. Swap the cereal for warm oats with chia seeds, a handful of blueberries, and a pinch of cinnamon. 2 weeks later, he called me. His legs felt lighter. He was sleeping through the night. And the best part, he told me his wife had noticed a difference too. And that little spark between them, it was coming back. That's what I want for you. Not some overnight miracle, but a quiet return to vitality. A sense that your body is remembering how to work again, how to feel again, how to be alive. And it starts with what you give it. So tomorrow morning, consider this. Instead of skipping breakfast or settling for sugar, give your arteries something they can use. Something that doesn't just fill you, but heals you. Oats and chia seeds may be simple, but they're powerful. And for the man who's willing to nourish his body first thing in the morning, they can become the fuel for everything you thought was fading away. Watermelon, nature's bedroom booster. Now, this next one might surprise you, because when most people think of watermelon, they think of summer picnics, backyard barbecues, maybe a cold slice on a hot afternoon. But if you're a man over 60 and you're looking to restore the kind of blood flow that makes you feel alive again, especially where it matters most, then watermelon isn't just a sweet treat. It's one of the most powerful natural tools you've probably been overlooking for years. And when eaten at the right time, it works fast. You see, watermelon is loaded with an amino acid called L-citrulline. When you eat it, your body converts that citrulline into something called L-arginine, which then increases nitric oxide, the very compound that helps your blood vessels expand and let blood flow freely throughout your body. If that sounds familiar, it should. It's the same pathway that medications like Viagra use. But this time, it's not coming from a pill, it's coming from your plate. And the best part? No side effects, no prescriptions, just pure natural support for circulation exactly where you need it. I'll never forget Franklin, a retired high school teacher who came to see me with what he called quiet embarrassment. He said, "Dr. Kapoor, I feel like my body's forgotten how to respond, like the switch just doesn't flip anymore." We added watermelon to his mornings, just a few slices before breakfast. Nothing complicated. Within a week, he called me chuckling, his voice lighter. I don't know if it's the watermelon or the fact that I'm finally eating breakfast, but something's definitely waking up down there. We both laughed, but it was real. The spark was coming back, not because of magic, but because his body was finally getting what it needed to function properly. And here's a little tip. Don't toss the white rind. That pale part near the skin, that's where the highest concentration of L-citrulline is found. You can chew it gently or blend it into a smoothie. It might not taste sweet, but your circulation will thank you. Watermelon works best on an empty stomach before your main meal. It prepares your blood vessels for the day ahead, especially the ones that tend to get overlooked. The tiny fragile vessels that support sensation, arousal, and the kind of physical response that can quietly change how you feel about yourself. So, if you've been feeling like something's missing, like that quiet hum of life in your lower body has gone dim, start with this: a slice of watermelon in the morning. A gentle reminder to your body that it still knows what to do. Because it does. It hasn't forgotten. It's just been waiting for you, for nourishment, for permission to come alive again. Steamed sweet potato with Celtic salt, the stabilizer. This next food might seem like the odd one out. It doesn't sound flashy. It doesn't come with a scientific buzzword attached. But let me tell you, when it comes to restoring stability, circulation, and that deep sense of grounded energy in the lower body, nothing does it quite like a warm, steamed sweet potato sprinkled with a touch of Celtic sea salt. If you've been waking up feeling heavy in the legs, numb in the feet, or just unsteady when you stand, this simple pairing might be the morning support your body has been quietly asking for. You see, after a long night of fasting, your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, pelvis, and groin, are running on empty. They need fuel, and not just any fuel. They need glycogen, minerals, and clean, stable carbohydrates to fire properly. Sweet potatoes deliver that in the gentlest, most nourishing way. They don't spike your blood sugar. They don't leave you jittery or crashing. Instead, they provide a slow, steady release of energy that your muscles can actually use. And when you combine them with a pinch of mineral-rich Celtic salt, something subtle but powerful starts to happen. Celtic salt isn't your typical table salt. It's full of trace minerals, magnesium, potassium, calcium that support nerve signaling, muscle contractions, and hydration. When your body is missing these minerals, your nerves misfire. Your blood pressure can dip or spike. Your coordination fades. But when you give your body what it needs first thing in the morning, it doesn't just respond. It recenters. It finds its balance again. You feel more rooted, more present, more capable of moving through your day with strength instead of strain. One patient I'll always remember is Elias, a quiet, soft-spoken man in his early 70s. He told me he'd been waking up with numb, aching legs and a dull ache in his groin that no stretch, massage, or pill seemed to touch. "It's like my body doesn't belong to me anymore," he said. I asked him to try something simple: half a steamed sweet potato, a pinch of Celtic salt, and a glass of warm water before his usual breakfast. 3 days later, he called me with something in his voice I hadn't heard before: lightness. "Doc," he said, "I stood up this morning and didn't have to grab the nightstand. I just stood up." It sounds so small, but for him, it was everything. And maybe for you, it could be too. Because sometimes it's not about dramatic overhauls or chasing youth. Sometimes it's about feeding your body something real, something it recognizes, something that gently tells your muscles and nerves, "I've got you." That's what this combination does. It stabilizes you, it prepares you, it sets the tone for how your body will move, feel, and respond all day long. So if you've been feeling wobbly, disconnected, or drained by noon, give your morning a chance to anchor you. A little sweet potato, a pinch of salt, and a lot of healing in every bite. What you need to do. Starting today, if you've made it this far with me, I want to pause for a moment and say something important. Thank you, not just for watching, but for caring, for staying curious, for still wanting to understand your body and how to work with it, not against it. That tells me you're not done. That tells me you still believe you've got something worth fighting for, and you do. So now the question becomes, what do you do with all of this? With everything we've just talked about, these 5 simple foods, this new understanding of how your morning routine can shape your entire day. What's your next step? The answer is simple. You begin not next week, not when you feel ready, not when it's convenient. You begin tomorrow morning, because that first hour after you wake up, it's one of the most powerful windows you have to influence your circulation, your energy, and even your emotional state. It's when your body is most receptive. It's when your blood vessels are most willing to open, when your muscles are most hungry for nutrients, and when your nerves are most ready to wake up. If you wait until you're already tired or distracted or rushing through the day, the moment's gone. But if you start right when you rise, before the noise, before the to-do list, something shifts. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one of the 5 foods we talked about. Just one. Maybe it's 2 boiled eggs with the yolks. Maybe it's a warm bowl of oats with chia seeds and cinnamon. Maybe it's watermelon on an empty stomach, or half a sweet potato with a sprinkle of Celtic salt. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. Because the consistency, not the complexity, is what will change you. Your body doesn't need fireworks. It needs rhythm. It needs you to show up for it, gently, every morning, until it remembers what it was made to do. You may not feel a dramatic shift on day 1. You might even question whether it's working, but give it 3 days, then give it 7, and by day 10, start paying attention. Maybe your legs feel a little lighter. Maybe you're not bracing yourself to stand up. Maybe there's warmth again in places that used to feel distant. Maybe your partner notices a softness in your face, a steadiness in your energy. These are the signs. These are the moments that whisper, you're coming back. And if you're sitting there wondering if it's too late, if you've already missed your chance, let me be clear. You haven't. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even late 80s begin this simple practice and feel more alive than they have in years. This is not about youth. It's about vitality. It's about saying, I'm still here, and letting your body meet you halfway. You don't need to do everything. You just need to begin. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't let the moment pass. Make it count. Give your body the signal it's been waiting for. And let breakfast become the beginning of something new. Not just a meal, but a quiet act of belief that you are still capable of strength, of energy, of connection. Because you are. If there's one truth I've learned after decades of walking beside men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, it's this. Aging doesn't take your strength. It only takes what you're willing to give up. And most of the time, what we give up isn't our health. It's our belief that change is still possible, that our bodies can still respond, that we're still worth the effort. But I need you to hear me when I say, you absolutely are. What you've learned today isn't some passing trend. It isn't about chasing youth or pretending to be 30 again. It's about reclaiming something much deeper, your rhythm, your vitality, your sense of self. You now know about 5 simple foods: whole eggs, oats with chia seeds, watermelon, steamed sweet potato with Celtic salt. Each of them a quiet tool for rebuilding blood flow, restoring muscle tone, easing nerve sensitivity, and helping you feel more like yourself again. These aren't prescriptions, they're nourishment. They speak to the systems of your body that age quietly over time: circulation, hormones, the deep pelvic muscles that support everything from your balance to your intimacy. And most importantly, you now know when to use them. Not just what to eat, but when to eat it. That first hour after waking, that's your window. That's your chance to turn things around from the inside out. I'm not here to promise miracles. I'm here to remind you that every small, consistent choice you make is a step away from decline and a step toward reclaiming what still belongs to you. Your strength, your independence, your ability to move through the world with steady confidence. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to begin. Start tomorrow. Start small. And let that first bite of breakfast be your declaration. I'm not finished yet. This isn't the end. Far from it. Your next act begins at breakfast. And it begins with a quiet but powerful choice to trust your body again, to give it what it needs, and to believe that you still have time. Because you do. You're not too old, you're not too late, and you're definitely not alone. If something in this video spoke to you, even just a little, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Your story matters, and it might be exactly what another man needs to hear. If you'd like more gentle guidance like this, go ahead and subscribe so we can keep walking this path together. And if there's someone in your life who could use a quiet reminder that they're not alone, feel free to share this with them too.